What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a 3 foot by 5.5 foot wooden American flag. Let's get started. All right, so first up, we're going to go ahead and get our wood cut. I got 15 6 foot 1x4s here, and we're going to go ahead and cut 13 of them at 66.5 inches. All right, so I got all those cut, and then with the 2 pieces I have left, I'm gonna cut 4 pieces at 33.5 inches. All right, so I got those short ones cut, and next what we're gonna do is take our 13 longer pieces, and I'm gonna go ahead and rip these at 2 11/16. Cutting, the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take my orbital sander here, and I got some 220 grit on there, and I'm just going to cruise over the faces of sander. We're going to go ahead and torch these. So I just got my propane torch here, and I'm just going to do a nice burn along, darker burn along all of the edges, and then I'll also torch some of the inside. And this just helps to bring the grain out a little bit more, and obviously you can torch them however dark you'd like to, but we're going to go ahead and get all of these torched. All right, so now that we're done torching, one thing that I forgot to mention, to also stain the ends, just so that it will match the rest of the flag. But now that we're done with that, I'm gonna take the bottom 6 stripes and just go set those aside somewhere so that we can get our union taped off. And we'll go ahead and get our union stained first, and then we'll stain the red and white after that. All right, so these will be my top 7 stripes, and all we're gonna do for these is measure over from the left side. We'll go 26 5/8. Then I'll take my speed square and just make a 90-degree mark right there. And I'll do that for all 7 of them. And then I'm gonna go ahead with my frog tape here, and I will just tape it off on the right side so that we can go ahead and get all that blue stained. So I'm gonna go ahead, get those measured, marked, and taped. All right, so now that we got those all taped off, now we can go ahead and get some stain on there. So I just got some of this Varathane Classic water-based wood stain, and this stuff is tinted in navy blue. I got this stuff from Home Depot, and I'll just be using a rag to stain. And usually with this stuff, I'll do about 3 coats to get the color that I like, but obviously you can do as many coats as you would like, but we can go ahead and get this stained out. And you're also gonna wanna stain just inside these edges as well, just in case any of that edge is showing, it won't show up as white. So you're going to want to stain both of the edges. Done with that blue, I went ahead and gave that a few hours to dry. So now we can just go ahead and tape off the blue side and get the red and white stained. For the white, I'll be using this Varathane water-based wood stain. This stuff is tinted in white. It's from Home Depot. And for the red, I just got this Minwax water-based wood stain. This is from Lowe's, and this is tinted in scarlet. And then after we get these Union ones stained, then we can take the other 6 that we have set aside, and obviously 3 of them will go white and 3 of them will go red. And usually I'll do 3 coats of the red and the white as well. Bottom and the top at 2 inches and 24 inches. And then we'll take our backers and then they will go on the insides of those marks. So just go something like that. So I'll just start on this right side here and I'll just throw my clamp on it, get it clamped down tight. I'm just gonna use my table as my right angle to go ahead and line all these up. But I'll just line them all up, clamp it, and then I'll just lay a bead of glue on the back of the flag and then on the back of the board, and then I'll just line it up. Then I'll go ahead and nail it off with my 18 gauge nailer and 1¼ inch nails. And then once I got this one nailed off, I'll just move over from right to left and get these other ones nailed off. And then once we're done with that, we can go ahead and get it flipped back over. That all nailed together, we can go ahead and move on to the stars. So I just got this stencil here. I can go ahead and link it in the description. And I'm just gonna go ahead and spray paint these stars. I'll use some Easy Tack for the back of the stencil just to help and try and get as clean of lines as possible. So this is the Easy Tack. You just spray a coat of it on the back of the stencil. Then you give it 60 seconds to dry, and then you just lay it down and go through and push it down, and it should stick it to the wood. And then I'll just use some of this satin white for the stars. I like to try and do like 4 or 5 really light coats of it. And then when you're done and you pull this off, I just use mineral spirits to clean the Easy Tack off. But we can go ahead and get these stars sprayed out. Go ahead and pull this stencil off. Sometimes it's a little tricky spraying with these when you just got the 1x material, because if they don't line up perfectly or if they don't sit flush, then sometimes you'll have little gaps right under the stencil where it can't really touch. So we'll go ahead and see how these turned out. Okay, so we definitely got some fuzzier ones here. Maybe I'll go ahead and try and touch those up with a small brush in the stain. But for the most part, they're pretty clean. Quick and touched up those stars, just using a little paintbrush in the stain. But now that we got those touched up, I'm gonna go ahead and get it flipped back over and get the hangers put on. So I just got these super heavy duty sawtooth hangers. These things are pretty beefy. They got 4 screw holes in them, and I can go ahead and link these in the description as well. You can use any picture style hanger. You just have to make sure that it's going to be a heavy duty one and that it could hold something this large. I'm just going to go ahead and go with these because they're nice and simple. And then what I'm going to do is, since these things are just a touch too small to fit full length on these backer pieces, I'm just gonna go ahead and bend the one side in so that I can do 3 screws on the face, and then I'll do 1 screw on the inside. If you don't want to bend it, I just use some channel locks to bend it in. If you don't want to bend it, you can always just hold it like this and then just do the 3. But I'm just gonna bend that one side in just for a little bit of extra support. And for these, I'll just measure 2 inches off the top, and then I'll just go ahead and line those up. And then on this right side over here, I'll bend the left side in so that they're symmetrical. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these put on there. All right, so now that we got those hangers put on there, you're actually gonna wanna measure from the very top stripe, not the top of this board, just in case your boards aren't exactly in the same spot. So if you go ahead and measure from the top, then you'll know that the hangers will be in the right spot. But now we can go ahead and get it flipped back over. And then the last thing that we gotta do is I'm just gonna put a coat of sealer over the face of it. I'll just be using this clear gloss. You can use any sealer that you would like to use, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get that coated on there. All right, so that is what it looks like all finished up. This is the next biggest flag that I make. So just to kind of help you get a little bit of a comparison, it's pretty much like twice as big as this one is. But yeah, I think this one would go super well on just any bigger wall that you have in your house or shop. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'll go ahead and list everything that I used down in the description. I'd love to hear any video recommendations that you guys might have. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and please have a great day. Yeah.